Springfield's News Talk FM 1041 KSGF. My name's Nick Reed. Senator Blunt joins us this morning. So how about that Kathleen Sebelius?
Well, like everybody else in the administration, she clearly was not prepared for this and frankly didn't know what she was doing. The administration, one, hiring a Canadian company that had tried to put the Canadian gun registry in place and failed, and two, not putting somebody absolutely in charge of this who understood how to do the easiest thing they're ever going to be asked to do in trying to make this work, which you and I don't believe it'll work, but the easiest thing they'll ever be asked to do, Nick, is to create a website. And what we don't want to do, the website will eventually work. We don't want to allow the website to become the proxy where the administration says, well, the website's up, that means Obamacare is working. There will be a time when the administration will think about the good old days when their only problem was the website wasn't working, because they're going to have lots of problems with this, as you and I have said from way before day one.
Yeah, you are absolutely right about that. And, I don't really, there's part of me that I don't feel bad for Sebelius, but I do kind of feel this sense that really, I don't care who you put in that position, they're not going to be able to pull this off because it's not, you can't pull it off. I mean, the whole idea is a flawed idea, and so it's like you have a ship with tons of holes in it, and it's built poorly, and there's no way that it can possibly sail. You hire a captain to sail it, and when it's sinking, you're grilling the captain as to why it's sinking, and it's like, really isn't the captain's fault. Captain may be totally incompetent, but that ship is going to sink anyway.
That's right, and if you can't even do the website, this is built on two really faulty principles. One is that people can get insurance after they're sick, and we could talk about that later because there's a way to deal with people who don't have insurance who get sick that we were doing pretty effectively in our state and almost every other state. And two is young, healthy people would have to buy insurance at rates way beyond anything they've ever looked at before, and they haven't been buying insurance before because they were young and healthy. I don't know how many times you and I on this program have said those are the two fatal flaws, but the website should not have been a problem. It's just a sign of continued mismanagement by the administration of everything from Benghazi to the IRS. The president never knows anything until everybody else knows it. And I think the American people have almost totally lost whatever confidence they might have had left in the administration, if not in the entire government.
I know that you guys and gals there in Washington, D.C., it's a different atmosphere, and you get very accustomed to having to deal with, the people who double speak and everything, and so you learn how to communicate with those folks, but it just seems like a totally different level when you've got Kathleen Sebelius. Of course, she's testified in the House and now in the Senate. When I forgot which one of your colleagues, while she's there, saying that this website has never crashed, got on his iPad that the website has crashed, and they're just saying the sky is not blue. And we never promised that people could keep their health insurance. And they're saying these things that they're not even attempting to try and maneuver around. They're just such blatant falsehoods. How do you even talk with these people? Do you even think, okay, we're going to really get some answers out of this?
No, I really don't. This atmosphere is very different than any time that I've been trying to make things happen at the federal level, because the president and the administration just don't reach out. They don't reach out to Republicans for sure. I don't think they reach out very much to Democrats because they can't get to that point of figuring out what they'd like to do that can get done. If it's not exactly the way President Obama wants it, he doesn't want it to get done. And apparently if you have to shade the truth in a big way to get something done, even when you know it's no longer going to be the truth, you just keep saying it. How many times did the president say, if you like your health care, you can keep it? How many times did he say, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor? For a lot of people, those aren't going to be anywhere close to the truth. And now the what they're saying is, well, once the website works, people are going to find out that they're going to have a better policy for less money. That is not going to happen. That will not be the truth either. And ironically, for those of us like you and I that have been concerned about this the whole time, who would still do anything to prevent it from happening, the president having to lay some of his cards on the table is real enemy now. The biggest enemy of Obamacare, I told Republican senators at lunch the other day, will be Obamacare. It won't be anything we've ever said. It won't be anything we've ever said was going to happen. Yeah. It will be when people begin to see the real facts, and they won't see the real facts until they have to, because the president has made it his policy not to let any rules and regulations come out before an election. The president's made it his policy so that you don't know anything except what he's telling you until you find out what he's telling you turns out not to be right, and people are beginning to catch on. On that high-risk pool, we had that in our state. That's one of the things. This has been one of the big selling points. People who have pre-existing conditions can get insurance. There was already a way for that, and why the way we were doing that was better is that the insurance companies and others that paid into that high-risk pool knew that they were paying into a high-risk pool. They knew that all of these people were high-risk rather than the blind draw that they're now getting, and that blind draw is going to raise the policies for everybody else. But this eliminates those high-risk pools. So like in Missouri, Nick, there are 4,300 people on the Missouri high-risk pool. There was a way to expand that I proposed back when we talked about how to do this, but there were 4,300 people that was on that high-risk pool. All of them lose their insurance December 31. All of them, no matter how long they have to stay on a website, are going to get insurance January 1. And unfortunately, no matter how much they have to pay, they're going to have to pay it. There was an article in the Springfield paper yesterday about a woman on the high-risk pool, or day before yesterday, I believe it was, who her insurance is going to cost about 150% of what it cost in the program the president just eliminated. And people are going to begin to find this out. They're going to find out the untruths that many of us have been saying. This just couldn't work. And the biggest enemy of Obamacare will be Obamacare.
I want to ask you something. Charles Krauthammer and a number of others have commented over the past couple of weeks that Republicans really don't have to do anything because Obamacare, it's not going to work, and so it'll collapse on itself. And my concern, I want to give you my thoughts and then get yours on it, is that the idea that because it's not going to work, that means it'll collapse, is built on the premise that when a government program doesn't work, it goes away. But the problem I see is that oftentimes when a government program is implemented and it's not working, instead of it going away, the answer is, we need to make it bigger, we need to give it more money so that it does work. So I fear that the prediction that it'll fall apart on its own isn't going to happen because that just doesn't seem to ever happen. Does that make sense?
It does make sense to me, and one of my concerns is that at some point in the maybe not too distant future, the administration and people who want to take away our health care rights as individuals and in their mind give us better things because the government in their mind is better than we would ever be, will say, well, we tried this private sector solution of how to help people get insurance and that didn't work. So we need to go to a single-payer system. That's the only thing really that's left for us to do. And I can see that happening. But we had and still have most of a great health care system left, but it wasn't perfect. And there are free market ways to make it a lot better. And I think we ought to be talking about those, as I have been since 2009. Medical liability reform, buying across state lines, finding a policy that meets your needs. We could have made this insurance market bigger and more competitive, not smaller and more tightly defined. Hospitals and doctors being more transparent about what they charge and what their results are. Everybody having fair tax treatment. If you buy your insurance on your own, you should be doing that with pre-tax dollars, just like if you get your insurance at work, or everybody should be treated the same, whichever we decide is the best way to treat everybody the same. There are 5 to 10 things that could be making these high-risk pools work better was a very, doable way to get people with pre-existing conditions into a plan that didn't cost much more than the plan that everybody else had. And I think it would be wrong for us not to act like the current health system is perfect, because it's really good and the best in the world, but it's not as good as it could be for everybody if we had some of those free market principles injected into it and more choice, not less choice.
Senator Blunt, appreciate you being with us this morning.
Hey, good to be with you, Nick. Look forward to seeing you in the studio before too long.